Very good evening and welcome. You're watching the India Development Debate. I'm Tamanna Inamdar, bringing to you the show on a day when it seems like the Maha battle for Maharashtra may have finally ended, with one side giving the other a walkover instead of going in for a battle to prove majority on the floor of the House. Today was another dramatic day that started with the Supreme Court ordering a floor test in the Assembly within 24 hours. Ajit Pawar and then Devendra Fadnavis resigning as Deputy Chief Minister and Chief Minister respectively 3 days after they took oath. And then an announcement that Uddhav Thackeray would be the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra, the first Thackeray to be CM. All in all, 35 days after the votes to the Maharashtra elections were counted, we may finally have a Chief Minister. Up ahead in the show, we'll tell you how all of this unfolded over the last 1 month. We will also get you an analysis of what this means for the state of Maharashtra and for national politics. But first, let's play out for you what Devendra Fadnavis said today.
आज श्री अजीत दादा पवार इन्होंने मुझसे मिलकर कहा कि वे इस सरकार में बने नहीं रह सकते और उन्होंने हमको इस्तीफा दिया, तो उनके इस्तीफा देने से अब बहुमत के लिए जितने विधायक चाहिए उतने भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पास नहीं है और इसलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने निर्णय लिया कि हम सरकार नहीं बनाएंगे, हम इस्तीफा देंगे। स्वयं माननीय राज्यपाल जी के पास जाने वाला हूं और इस्तीफा देने वाला हूं। हम विपक्ष में बैठेंगे, एक जागरूक विपक्ष का काम हम करेंगे।
All right, now a lot of people have been tracking the developments in Maharashtra minute by minute, but remember this has spanned over nearly 35 days. So before we get to the debate, I'm going to go across to my colleague Vikram, who's going to give us a quick recap. Vikram, there have been so many twists and turns in this entire episode, haven't they?
I mean, this is the Maha drama. Just before the elections, the BJP and the Shiv Sena as the Maha Yuti or the Grand Alliance was largely touted to win. And though it wasn't a thumping victory, together with the BJP's 105 and the Shiv Sena's 56 that were announced as the election results on the 24th of October, it was expected that we would see the return of Devendra Fadnavis as Chief Minister. And that would have been the case if Shiv Sena had not thrown a spanner in the works with their demand for a rotational Chief Minister. And then the BJP, of course, rejected that demand for a rotational Chief Minister. They said it was never part of the plan, as it were. The governor of Maharashtra, B.S. Koshyari, he invited the BJP to form the government on the 10th of November after showing the letters of support from their allies more than 2 weeks after the declaration of the results. But the BJP declined, saying it does not have the numbers to form the government and that the Sena is disrespecting the mandate of the people. Since the BJP declined, the governor turns to the Sena to form the government, the second largest party there, giving them 24 hours to show that they have support. By now, the Sena has shown resolve in propelling Uddhav Thackeray as the next Chief Minister, looking actively for support from the NCP and the Congress, the two parties already in partnership. The NCP, with its 54 MLAs, seemed keen, but the Congress wasn't willing to play ball. At the end of those 24 hours for the NCP, since the Shiv Sena could not pull off the support they needed, they asked for 72 more hours from the governor, a request that was promptly turned down. Instead, the governor turned to the NCP to form the government as the third largest party. But even before that deadline, the governor imposed president's rule in the state just before the PM departed for Brazil for the BRICS summit. From then to the 22nd of November, the Shiv Sena, NCP and Congress have long meetings. They crack a common minimum program for this new alliance they've formed and eventually agree on putting forth the name of Uddhav as the Chief Minister. On the day the alliance was to approach the governor to stake claim, comes a bolt from the blue. At the crack of dawn, without any advance notice, the governor revokes president's rule in the state, and soon after, Devendra Fadnavis has been sworn in as Chief Minister. The state and the country wake up to this stunning piece of news. Ajit Pawar is labelled as a backstabber. They knock at the doors of the Supreme Court for an early floor test. Both BJP and Aghadi claim they have the numbers, but only on the 26th of November, after the Supreme Court rules that a floor test be conducted, we have Ajit Pawar, who then eventually submits his resignation, followed by Devendra Fadnavis as well, citing again the lack of numbers. It's been a long drama, very long twist to the tales as well. Is this the end? We'll have to watch this space for more on this entire Maha play. Tamanna.
Now, speaking to me on the fast-paced developments in Maharashtra are Nalin Kohli, BJP National Spokesperson and Supreme Court Advocate, Tehseen Poonawala, lawyer and political analyst, Congress sympathizer, Smita Prakash, editor News ANI, and Professor Sanjay Kumar, Director of CSTS. Welcome to all of you. And thank you for joining us on a day that we're trying to make sense of what exactly has happened in the last 48 to 72 hours. Who's the biggest winner and who's the biggest loser? Nalin Kohli, I'll come to you first because Devendra Fadnavis has had to resign today, 3 days after he took oath. Was the oath-taking ceremony on the dawn of Saturday morning, in hindsight, a misstep?
Actually, first it wasn't dawn, it was almost 8 a.m. So it was much after dawn. But then besides that, I think Mr. Devendra Fadnavis himself said that we will assess this issue at a later stage. So he himself reserved that right to look back and check whether what was, the fact that letters of support came his way. Let's not forget the fact that in the first instance when he went to the governor, when the governor had invited him as the BJP, he had said at 105 seats, we don't have the numbers. It's only subsequently when those letters of support came with Mr. Pawar, Ajit Pawar, that he went in and said that we have the numbers, and the governor then went ahead and swore him in. When those numbers were clearly not with him anymore, he tendered his resignation.
That is fine, Nalin Kohli, but the fact is that on Friday evening, and I'm sorry to rewind to 3 days ago, when today we've reached sort of a close on this whole situation, but it all started from there. Friday evening, Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray and the Congress party come out and say that we have a common minimum program, we are going to, form the government. Then presumably Ajit Pawar reaches out to Devendra Fadnavis a few hours later and says that, hey, I want to come and form the government with you. Why did the BJP believe him without checking with all of these MLAs? Then why did you have to rush it so much? That's why I'm saying, I know you will take your time to look back, but on hindsight, this seemed to be
one by one.
This seemed to be a rush to gain power, something which you're saying you don't want to do today. So can you take the moral high ground today?
It is, Tamanna, these questions are but logical and they will be asked. There will be some soul searching, there has to be. Because obviously you don't take the oath to eventually resign after 3 days. So I think it's a fairly serious situation that the party also acknowledges, and the party is clear about it. That's, I think, evident from the fact that Mr. Fadnavis himself said, we are going to look at this issue in more depth. But certainly it's not something that you can give an off-the-cuff response. But I think it's important equally to wind back to that Friday that you refer, and the preceding days to that too. There was no one who went with the letters or went to the governor and said we are ready to form the government, including the NCP, Congress and Shiv Sena. All that we knew in the media
Nalin, that's the governor's issue.
We are getting together, we plan to do so.
No, but that's the governor's outlook. Technically, the BJP has already said we don't have the numbers, so we are going to sit in opposition. Now, there is some activity happening outside. It is the governor's prerogative whether he takes cognizance of it or not. I'm asking about your decision to stake claim, which you've had to reverse 3 days later.
I must as a lawyer correct you there. I'm sorry. As a lawyer, I would need to correct you on that. I think we need to be fundamentally clear. The governor is supposed to make a prima facie opinion. He is not to do a deep dive investigation. When somebody comes and says, I am the leader of the legislative party, I am giving my letter of support, and these are the letters below it, the governor's role ends only at that. The next thing is, after he swears in, he has to give time for the floor test.
That's the governor's
role.
So
therefore, if Mr. Ajit Pawar came with those letters, there wouldn't be any reason for the governor to deny that.
No, but which is why I said it's the governor's prerogative.
For the
BJP as a political party, isn't it imperative that you do a deep dive? For the BJP as a political party, and because you're wearing two hats, but for the BJP, you should do a deep dive. Whether the governor should do or not is a separate matter today. You should check. I mean, I'm now thinking in hindsight, what possessed the BJP to trust Ajit Pawar and his piece of paper with 54 signatures?
I think Yes, so therefore, Tamanna, that's a clear question that obviously is implicit in what Mr. Devendra Fadnavis himself said, which is when he was asked some pretty tough questions, and he didn't shy away from those questions, but he was honest to say that yes, we are going to assess all of this. So how is it that the BJP is not going to assess the entirety of the situation? We know what the situation is. We see what we were in. We see that we had to be in government for 3 days and then subsequently resign.
Yeah.
It's not something that the BJP hoped in a situation to be. And obviously the BJP will assess it. There's no question about it.
Okay, assess is you know, a long-term process. What happens now? Tehseen Poonawala, welcome to the show. Hope you can hear us. We've just been asking Nalin Kohli, you know, why they trusted Ajit Pawar in the first place. I want to ask you, why the Aghadi? And now they seem like they're on their way to forming the government unless something else happens tonight. I don't know. This, you know, anything can happen in this situation. Why did they take so long? Nalin Kohli's point, which you missed before you came on, was that they felt they had to go to the governor with Ajit Pawar's letter in tow because there were only meetings and announcements. Do you think that this could have been wrapped up earlier? We may now get a government over a month after the election results.
Tamanna, first of all, Nalanji is a very erudite lawyer and somebody I have personally a lot of regards and respect for. But I would humbly like to remind Nalanji, it took 45 plus days for the BJP to form a government in Jammu and Kashmir. The Honorable Prime Minister is on record for saying that. Why is that considered Chanakya Niti? Why is that considered a victory of democracy and this considered being impatient? Point number one. Point number two, let's take Nalanji's argument one step further. If they waited almost 20-25 days for a Aghadi government to be formed, what was so urgent for the Honorable Prime Minister to recommend removing of President's rule at 2:47, then 5:47, and this clandestine swearing in ceremony at 7:45 in the morning? Rule 12 very clearly stipulates an urgency. An urgency has been defined by various constitutional experts as an act of war, an earthquake, or something absolutely urgent.
Right.
What was so urgent? If Nalanji's logic is taken that 30 days you almost waited for a government, that you had to do this overnight without inviting anybody, breaking convention. Point number three. Today, when Devendra Fadnavis came to know that those 54 letters that Ajit Pawar got him, signatures that Ajit Pawar got him, was actually not meant for him, but was meant for the Aghadi, and he had been cheated, as in Devendra Fadnavis's word, he had been misled. If that was the case, why did Devendra Fadnavis and the governor, represented through Tushar Mehta, go to the Supreme Court and ask 3 days, 5 days for a floor test? Why not say, look, we've been misled.
Yeah.
So here it is, we are stepping down, or we're going to the floor of the house right away to prove our assembly. You actually tried to do horse trading. When you could not succeed in horse trading, when you could not succeed in Operation Kamla, you're now taking the high moral ground.
No, but you know, that's the mystery of this whole thing. I'm going to let Nalin respond.
It's very important.
One sec, Tehseen, I'm going to let Nalin respond. But that's the mystery of the whole thing.
One line.
Yeah, okay.
One line. Narayan Rane is on record saying bazaar mein bahut MLA.
No, I know all that. I know all that,
Tehseen.
But we have gone beyond that point right now. We're sort of looking back at what has happened in the last 1 month, assuming that this is the end of the Maharashtra drama for now. And in that context, if they wanted to break away MLAs, they had enough time. The most enduring mystery of what happened in the last 1 month or so would be is what stopped the BJP from executing this Operation Kamla everyone's talking about, and then what possessed them to trust Ajit Pawar. Why has it taken so long on the other side, on the other hand as well? Nalin, do you want to respond to some of the points Tehseen has raised? And these can be looked at as political missteps and a lust for power.
I've heard Tehseen's point.
Yeah.
And, well, no, I think, see, they are entitled, that's Tehseen and the parties that he represents, to make those points, because obviously they are feeling a sense of exhilaration. Now, we can counter that with all the other counter arguments to even say that, for example, what has been the relationship, say, between the Congress and the Shiv Sena, what has been said between the leaders of respective parties, how do they meet, all that's okay, but it doesn't matter. The point that matters today is that the BJP was led to believe that yes, we could form a government. It appeared that there were issues at the NCP's end. Those issues seem to have clearly resolved themselves out for whatever be the reasons, and as a political party they are entitled to see how they resolved it themselves. We can't be running their party. And last of all is now a coalition government appears to have been firmed up between three unlikely, at least one unlikely ally among the two existing allies,
Yeah.
which is the Shiv Sena along with the NCP Congress.
Okay.
Now let us see, is their job to run? We will know over the next preceding few weeks,
Yeah.
maybe months,
And this-
what is it that they bring to the table? How do they work? How is this going to throw it? That's the future course. As far as the BJP is concerned, since we are going to be in opposition, we will need and we will certainly play that role in whatever constructive way we can.
Right.
And let's not forget the point, as far as we believe, similar to what happened originally in Karnataka, this was snatching away what was legitimately due to form the people's expectation, a government of the Shiv Sena and the BJP.
So, you know, that's an
because we
interesting
went to
point.
the people
That's
as
an
an alliance.
interesting point,
People
Nalin Kohli.
voted back the alliance, which had a clear majority.
Will
Now,
we
if that
see
alliance
more
has been broken by
similarities?
the other partner,
Yeah.
they have to also answer to the people. The shoe does not fit
No,
on the
no,
BJP
1 minute,
alone.
1 minute. Will we see more parallels with Karnataka? You know, 1.5 year down the line, or in Bihar? That's a telling smile there from Nalin Kohli. I want to just open up the debate. We also have Smita Prakash and Professor Sanjay Kumar with us. Smita, if we are going to...
Is that question to me, Tamanna ji?
If that was a comment, I'm opening up the debate, going to other participants. I doubt you will answer very clearly if I say, are you going to try and break this government in a year from now? So I'm not going to bother asking you that question.
No, I would answer that as clearly as I can, but don't forget that you've got at least in Tehseen and me, Paul, advocates. So
Yes.
you will see us say it couched in legal language for sure.
Yes.
I just simply say this is that in politics there's never a dull moment. And in terms of what is there, the contradictions that are going to be evident, which are
Right.
evident even now between what is the Aghadi that's coming together,
Yeah.
if those contradictions are not smoothened out, well, they have to answer for that, not us.
Well, you seem happy now to be in the opposition. Well, let me come to Smita Prakash. If you had to, you know, look back at this and see that how different figures have emerged in this situation, Smita, and give us a breakdown. Sharad Pawar, the central force of bringing all of this together. Devendra Fadnavis, on the other hand, Ajit Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray. Is it fair to say that Ajit Pawar and Devendra Fadnavis have emerged as the biggest quote-unquote losers out of this entire episode?
No, I completely disagree. I think the biggest losers are the people of Maharashtra who
sure.
voted for a different coalition and are saddled with another coalition. And they've been seen, while they gave the Mahayuti a mandate, instead what they now have is a Maha Vikas, what is the word? Maha Vikas Aghadi.
Aghadi, yes.
Some
Maha-
weird,
yeah, Aghadi, correct.
but it's not
Yes.
even Aghadi now. It's been but it's been renamed. So
Okay.
they have a new Namkaran. Maha Vikas Aghadi is what the new Namkaran which has happened. That's what they're calling it. So, you know, I think the losers are the people of Maharashtra, those who voted for Shiv Sena thinking it's going to be a BJP-led coalition, or those who voted for the BJP thinking that they will have the Shiv Sena out there. What they instead have is this coalition. So that is one point. The second one is about Uddhav Thackeray. Very interesting to see how he holds this coalition in place because he really has no administrative experience. He's not like Kumaraswamy, who did have admin experience, who was a politician for a very long time, even though he, like Uddhav Thackeray, inherited the mantle from his father.
Right.
So to hold together these different forces, it will be interesting to see. But then Uddhav Thackeray has the blessings of Sharad Pawar, which Kumaraswamy didn't have. Hopefully, you will not see the kind of mess in Maharashtra that you saw in Karnataka, and they will be able to give some kind of governance. As far as, you know, what is the possibility that the BJP will try to do a Yediyurappa on Maharashtra? Sushil Modi has already, within minutes of this Maha Aghadi coming together, Vikas Aghadi coming together, has turned around and said that you can never say in politics lots of possibilities.
Yeah.
So people in the BJP, you know, not necessarily from the Maharashtra unit, but rest of the country are not going to take this insult lying down.
No, but didn't they bring it upon themselves, Smita?
An opportunity.
Smita, didn't they bring it upon themselves? I understand you saying that the people of Maharashtra are the biggest losers for all of this tamasha. I agree with you. But just to bring to your point that it's not the first time that the the single largest party has not been able to form the government, which is effectively what has happened in the state of Maharashtra. There are tons of examples of those. Whether it is initially the state of Karnataka or in Goa or Uttarakhand, you've had loads of examples where the SLP doesn't sometimes form the government. The Shiv Sena should be questioned about why they broke the alliance. But my point is, the BJP may be upset, but did they not bring this upon themselves?
Yes, you can blame. In fact, I would lay the blame on all three of them. The NCP, Shiv Sena and the BJP, not the Congress so much, because they really are not a player in this, and perforce have become a player in this coalition. I don't think they suppose that they could ever be, like a kingmaker position. So yes, there are fissures in our multi-party democracy, and it is up to every political party to use those to their advantage. So really no moral ground that anybody can stand upon, and no high horse that anybody can take, that they've taken a morally superior position as compared to the other parties. Interesting to see, who has been the Chanakya in all this. There's a lot of talk about the Chanakya of politics. Many claim now that it could have been Sharad Pawar who was a mastermind in all this.
Yeah, Chanakya is now an overused term. I've avoided using it for the last few days because, I don't know if anyone wants to even be called a Chanakya right now. Let me quickly go to Sanjay Kumar. And we'll talk about possible conspiracy theories in a bit. But at the end of the day, is the biggest enduring mystery that why did Ajit Pawar jump ship? If he didn't have the numbers, was he truly trying to deceive the BJP? What happened in that interim? And in that one day when Sharad Pawar managed to drag back a whole host of MLAs, did Sharad Pawar really not know?
No, I have no idea what happened during that night that Ajit Pawar came up with this signatures, and he agreed to form a government along with BJP, and he agreed to accept the position of a deputy chief minister. I have no idea what happened, but I can see very clearly that we were talking about who is the biggest loser and who is the biggest gainer, but I think clearly if you look at the position of Ajit Pawar, I think at the moment he is in nowhere. In a sense, he has lost the trust of NCP leaders, he has lost the trust of the BJP. So, and we know since the morning, if we look at his schedule, he was not present in any of the meetings. So I think it is a difficult time for a person like Ajit Pawar. This is what I can see what has happened with regard to the story which has unfolded around Ajit Pawar.
Okay, let me come back to Nalin and Tehseen. So, if Ajit Pawar is the biggest loser, Devendra Fadnavis smarting for now, may bounce back. Let's just speak, because both of you are also political analysts, about the role of Sharad Pawar. Nalin Kohli, I want to look at this in the broader picture beyond Maharashtra. And Smita made a mention of BJP leaders outside Maharashtra and how everyone is smarting. Has the formidable political acumen of Amit Shah met his match in the 81-year-old Sharad Pawar? And have these three parties in Maharashtra sort of created some kind of template which other opposition parties will try and follow across the country? Because you will have to admit that the BJP is at the peak of its power. So just by effect of how powerful it is, it's a threat to every other party, including allies. They're all now going to want to band together for survival.
You're making many assumptions too early.
Okay.
For the reason being that the alliance is still not sworn in, and we haven't seen the alliance, how it is unfolding itself in terms of their day-to-day performance and managing the contradictions that are apparent on the face of the record, as we say in law. I mean, there's just too many contradictions between particularly the Shiv Sena and the Congress, who are part of this alliance. What's the nature of this alliance going to be? How is it going to be in terms of the sharing of power, the day-to-day functioning? Who are the power centers within and outside that alliance? So there are many things that are completely nebulous at the moment, and we need to see over the next several weeks how they unfold. Which is what brings me to the next thing. When you are making a comparative and trying to make it with, say, Amit Bhai, our national president and the home minister, with Sharadji, I think it's an unfair and incorrect. And Sharadji is of a different generation. He's a very senior leader. From the 80s he's been there. He moved out of the Congress party.
Yes.
He's been in various governments, been Chief Minister of Maharashtra. But the fact is that Sharad ji had, in a sense, also been very, very always dominating in or involved in the Maharashtra scene. On the other hand, Amit Bhai, after Gujarat, has come onto the national scene. He took the party up in a spectacular way. So while we've had Narendra Modi ji's charismatic leadership, his appeal, his agenda, at the organizational level, what Amit Bhai Shah has done is spectacular.
Yes.
Build the party at a booth level, and yes, the party has done phenomenally well. That's there for everyone to see.
Right.
So I think, the scale has been very different, but I don't think it's correct to pit, two leaders of two different generations
really
and two
pitting.
different role plays.
No, I'm not really
in
pitting.
different circumstances.
No, I understand what you're saying, Nalin. I'm making a broader point. Tehseen, let me come to you since you've put
I've
your
lost
hand.
the line.
Yeah, let's try and get Nalin back. I'm making a broader point, and the point that I'm making out of all the range of opposition leaders, non-BJP leaders, from Rahul Gandhi, to Tejasvi Yadav, if I go back to the 2019 battle, the Young Turks, across states, across different regions, across opposition parties, the only one who's managed to come out on top has been Sharad Pawar. Tehseen, wouldn't you agree?
You see, I would like to start by quoting Nalin Bhai. He said, Amit Shah ji took the party up at the national level, and I completely agree with Nalin ji on that. He did. And using the words that Nalin ji used in his previous argument, snatching away the mandate of the people, he used this for BJP in Maharashtra. What was the mandate of the people of Bihar? Did Amit Shah ji take the party up by snatching away the mandate of the people in Bihar? Or in Goa, as Tamanna, you were telling, the sitting chief minister of BJP lost. The BJP was a smaller party. The Bomai judgment was not followed. The governor is on record saying she was consulting the late Arun Jaitley ji as the finance minister, which is illegal for the governor to do. If not illegal, immoral, but she's on record saying that. So Amit Shah ji may have some sort of a strategy. Are those strategies moralistic is one question. Question number two about Sharad Pawar and being the face of the opposition. Please understand, I agree with Nalinji, this is too soon. We all celebrated Bihar, we saw what happened after that. The BJP has in its alliance three people, the CBI, the ED and IT, and they are unashamed to use it. They use it shamelessly. We saw cases being shut down on Ajit Pawar ji immediately. So there is this fear that the BJP creates, but I agree and admit to one level that grassroots leaders do not get scared. And if you're a grassroots leader, you will not get scared. You remember Sharad Pawar was summoned by the ED. The Mumbai police under Devendra Fadnavis had to tell him, please don't come. So grassroots leaders, it's more difficult to scare them than scare perhaps the newer leaders.
No, okay, so let Nalin respond to that. But the fact is the grassroots, connect of Sharad Pawar and the cadre of Shiv Sena that have let this happen. The Congress has sort of just got this opportunity in its lap. Now, let me quickly get Nalin to respond. Yes, Nalin.
No, I'll just make this as my last comment. As you know, I'll have to move, and with no disrespect to my other co-panelists. But I think the point is not about grassroots leaders. I mean, the BJP is a grassroots party. That's why it is in government. And 2 terms because of Narendra Modi ji and Amit Bhai Shah, the organization and the government. So I think, these are 2 general statements to arrive at the moment. What we know is there are contradictions there. Let them play out. If they are able to govern, good luck to them. So be it. They must serve the people of Maharashtra, because after all, the people of Maharashtra, as Smita said, voted in a separate alliance. They've now formed a separate alliance. So they have to meet those requirements of the people of Maharashtra. That's the bottom line. And if they don't meet it and their own political compulsions and contradictions lead to confusion, I don't know how it's going to serve Maharashtra, which is after all an important state, a frontline state, and Mumbai happens to be the financial capital of India. So there is India's stake in it too.
India's stake is in it too. The people of Maharashtra's stake is in it too, and we'll have to wait and see. I think to dismiss that this government will be a failure or claim it will be a success in advance would be early. It might not be easy at all to see how these 3 work together. But, Smita, that's going to be the big test, isn't it? Because they had a goal of keeping the BJP out in the state. Can they take that forward? And do you now seeing the BJP playing a very different kind of an opposition party, not the kind that we've seen in the last 5 years in Maharashtra? Some would argue that the BJP got a walkover, but it's not going to give any kind of a walkover to the Aghadi.
So what is going what is going to hold the Aghadi together? Survival, nothing else, because ideology is not something that has brought them together. It is just being pragmatic and trying to come into power. So it's going to be survival which is going to hold them together, keep them in office, and probably some kind of advisory role that Sharad Pawar will play, like a father figure to the coalition, because I don't see Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi playing any active role in this coalition. So it's going to be a senior leader like Sharad Pawar who will be advising Uddhav Thackeray how to hold this coalition together. What role will the BJP play? I don't think the BJP will be snapping at the ankles of this coalition right away, because it will give bad optics, because they made this pitch to come to power, then they got egg on their face, they've had to retreat, and then if they start on the aggressive note immediately, it's not going to bode well, especially with the people of Maharashtra. I think they're going to wait for a time and occasion where suddenly somebody in the coalition, maybe 15-20 of the coalition, suddenly think of farmers, suddenly have a conscience, wake up, and then form a coalition with them, which you saw happening in Karnataka. So you never know what can happen in these kind of rickety coalitions which come to power. I mean, everywhere to keep a coalition going requires a lot of willpower, requires a lot of administrative experience and a lot of give and take. Does Shiv Sena really have it? Because they are not known to be a very genial party as far as being a coalition partner. But Tamanna, since 2014, they have been a smaller partner to a BJP which had brute majority, and they have learned how to play ball with a larger partner. So here, to survive in this coalition and to lead the coalition, they might have to swallow their overriding ambition and their ambitious nature, and just to keep the coalition going. Interesting times ahead.
No, absolutely interesting times ahead. I just want to come on the role of, we know that there are three parties and they almost have similar power as part of that coalition. In number 1, 2, 3 would be Shiv Sena, NCP, and then Congress least with 44. But who will actually be calling the shots? I think that's the big question. It's fairly clear now, and they have announced that Uddhav Thackeray will be the next chief minister. So he is going to be front and center. Sanjay Kumar, is it actually going to be Sharad Pawar calling the shots in this government?
I don't doubt, because it will go by the seniority of the leadership, and seniority does mean not only age but the experience. So if you look at the three parties which are likely to form the government together, Sonia and Rahul are not that experienced when it comes to actually taking command of the government. So and also if you look at the approach of Congress has been keeping almost like just a supporting role.
Yeah.
So it is NCP and the Shiv Sena which are going to be on the forefront of this government, and if we go by the administrative experience, I am sure Sharad Pawar would be calling the shot. If I don't say calling the shot, but he would be the person who would be actually guiding how to hold the coalition together, how to arrive at a common minimum program, and how the government should function. So yes, Sharad Pawar is going to play a very important role in this government.
Sanjay, I was asking Smita earlier about the larger picture and the national import of what we've seen. So now we've seen two things. We've seen all parties completely unmasked for the political opportunists they are. There's no doubt about that. But we've also seen that a meeting of the most unlikely can take place in a bid for survival. Will Maharashtra in that sense become a template?
Yes, at the moment it seems there is a template, because if we talk to the leader of these parties, we would find some kind of a, if not jubilation would be too strong a word, but some kind of a satisfaction that they have been able to prevent BJP from forming government in Maharashtra.
Yeah.
And the sense that BJP is not invincible, BJP could be restricted, BJP could be defeated. So yes, there is a template, but how strong is this template? How durable is this template? How this template is going to move ahead? That's going to be the big question. But yes, I think Maharashtra gives a template that if you leave aside your egos, if you leave aside your different ideological commitment, you could come together and prevent the most dominant party at the moment in Indian politics, which is BJP.
But what really happened in those intervening hours? Will BJP let it go at this? What kind of an opposition will BJP be? What kind of a chief minister will Uddhav Thackeray be? Let's not forget the import of that. The first Thackeray chief minister. There have been Sena chief ministers in the past, but this is the first Thackeray chief minister. Smita, you said interesting times ahead. What are the key things that you will be watching for?
Absolutely, Tamanna, I disagree that there's not, the term was there may not be jubilation. There's absolute jubilation in the Sena camp. They are thrilled because it's something that they feel that Bala Sahib's son, has become chief minister. In fact, they wanted the swearing-in ceremony to take place in Shivaji Park, but that can't happen because I guess, 24 hours is too less a time. By tomorrow evening, they want Uddhav to be sworn in. The ideal situation for Shiv Sena would have been to have this Maha ceremony in the outdoors and not a restrictive small ceremony or small swearing in. They would want a big pomp and show about it, but then they can't do that because they don't want to leave too much time gap. So yeah, not too much time gap. They want it to happen quickly, but they will do something which will be in a larger, probably when a larger cabinet is sworn in, they probably do that outdoors. So in absolute jubilation in the Sena camp. Even in the NCP camp, the fact is that any rebellion has been quashed is something that the NCP is thrilled to bits. They don't want it to break up, even though there is a parivar element in the NCP. The fact that they have managed to quell that rebellion and that the Maratha strongman is still completely in charge is something that the NCP is thrilled to bits about. And as you said, to show that the BJP is not invincible, to have that juggernaut stopped at some point of time, at some point in their victory run, is something that is exhilarating for all opposition parties. So I don't think we can take away the jubilation from the opposition camp at this stage.
Well, for today, the round has gone to Sharad Pawar. Even though Uddhav Thackeray will become the chief minister, the real winner over here is Sharad Pawar. The biggest loser right now seems to be Ajit Pawar. We'll have to wait and see if he's actually ever rehabilitated within the party and the family. I want to thank all of you for joining us on the first big debate, and just, a quick take. Of course, this has big import for the people of the state and all voters, because it has shown each party for what it really is in a span of over a month. What has it shown us, and what does the lesson say for the BJP? And let's go one by one. For the BJP, the lesson is that they should have sat in the opposition as they said they would the first time that the governor really invited them. Why did they fall for Ajit Pawar's promise when it didn't seem sustainable? Should they have agreed to whitewash Ajit Pawar when the former Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has actually called him corrupt and asked for him to be in jail? It's a big lesson that the BJP has to ask itself. It's perhaps now lost the moral high ground it's trying to claim. For the Shiv Sena, it is a complete fraud on the voters who cast their votes for the Shiv Sena because they were partners with the BJP. They broke a pre-poll alliance that they went to the people with. They spoke about a promise that no one had heard of before the counting day, and then they pushed with it at any cost, even going as far as to join up with bitter enemies. For the Congress party, they have compromised on a very basic tenet that they claim to stand for, which is secularism. Them tying up with the Shiv Sena shows that they are willing to go along for any ride as long as it keeps the BJP out. The kind of, slow move to take any decisions that the Congress has shown also displays the fact that they are still out of that whole plan to make a comeback. And from the NCP, even though they have turned out to be the biggest winners in the game, they have shown that they will go to any lengths to remain in power. So that really is the big message from this evening and from the events of the last 1 month, that political parties at the end of the day will do what suits them best. If there is some good done for the people, perhaps it's a byproduct. We'll take a very short break, but when we're coming back, we're asking the question that everyone's wondering about. Why are the markets on highs? Why have they hit new highs when there's such bad news from the economy? We try and decode that for you after this very short break. Don't go away.